All right. So, just as an example, we've pulled up a few listings. So this is the one which is actually downtown Toronto, on Jarvis Street, and it's selling for right now almost $750,000 Canadian. And I mean, lobby and all is fancy. That's typical Toronto. But keep going, 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 and we're inside. Now, this is a very typical Toronto condo. They all look the same. They're usually, a box. And it depends. If it's a nice box, then it'll probably have a proper door to your bedroom. And if it's a shitty box, it's probably going to have like a sliding door. That's how I differentiate between condos in Toronto.
Is the type of door that they use?
Yeah, because to me, a sliding door is not a door.
Are
Like,
are you a
I
barn
know
door? Do
I'm
you like barn doors at all? Is that your because there's people who fall into one of two camps. Either you love them or you hate them.
a barn door, but not for my bedroom. A barn door is fine for your laundry room. A barn door is okay for a barn. A barn door even okay for your pantry. A barn door is not fine for my bedroom.
So when you say sliding doors, are you thinking of barn doors for your bedrooms as one of the disqualifying factors?
Who am I? What am I complaining about? Literally, I'm recording in my one room, which is my kitchen, my living room, and my bedroom. So
I know, but the day your mortgage company writes you a check and says, go here, this is your what you're approved for, you start thinking in terms of, I don't like that. I want this. I don't want barn doors in
I
my
know, but
apartment.
but I mean that's just how it is because I think the reason people put in the sliding door, which is kind of quite useless, is because then they can call it a one bedroom, and a one bedroom always has a higher resale value than say a bachelor.
Right.
So it's more technicality and what goes on paper. So
Hmm.
in this case, that actually seems like they have like a door, and it has a small balcony and what I call a kitchenette, a little island, and that's the entire apartment. And it's nice. I think it's a new build. It's probably never stayed in, but $750,000 for that.
Do you remember
That's
what
to me.
what floor this was on? Like, is that also a factor when it comes to the pricing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the higher you go, the more expensive it's gonna get.
Right.
So I think this is probably on the 37th floor.
Okay, that's pretty high up. I mean, I know Toronto's got a skyline that
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
cities
yeah,
don't have, but
yeah. And I mean, if we scroll down, if you look at it, I mean, that's the other thing with buying a condo in Toronto is are the maintenance fees. I mean, for this particular condo, the monthly fees is about $350, which is a significant chunk
yeah,
on top
that's
of your mortgage.
does that include any amenities as far as a pool or a gym, anything of that
It
sort?
does. I mean, but how much of that are you going to actually use, right? I mean, sometimes they will include the heat and the water costs. Not always. You really need to check that. I think the other nice thing about this condo is that they actually do have a parking attached with it,
Hmm.
which again is not always the norm with condos here. And to anyone who knows, I mean, parking spots sell for close to 100,000 in downtown Toronto. Just a parking spot,
A reserved parking spot. That's
a
like
reserved parking spot. Yeah, and also, I mean, sometimes people, because you live in downtown Toronto, if they do buy a condo that comes with a parking spot and they don't have a car because you don't need one, they rent it out. So that becomes a source of income.
hmm
It's just, yeah, I guess because I did not grow up in Toronto or in a big city like Toronto, some of these things are still jarring. I've been here for 3 years now, but it's still, it's just bonkers.
yeah.
Similarly, there's another one. I think now I'm looking at the one on 80 John Street, and nice lobby, whatever. Not that I'm ever gonna use it. Uh, this one is nice. I think it has a pretty nice view. Um, they've set it up pretty nice. They've done that effort. But you see, this one has a sliding door.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it has that's how they divide it. It doesn't have a proper door. It has a sliding door, and
I
it's
see
like
that.
your Yeah,
Yeah. I do
and it
like the
doesn't have
look
a.
of this apartment more though than the last one. I don't know if that this one feels a little warmer, maybe because of the
I
flooring in
think it's
here.
the
Yeah.
flooring, and I think the windows are pretty big. The view is nice, and also they've done. I think I don't know if this is actual setup or it's just digitized, so that definitely makes a difference. The previous
Mm,
one was more photos; they were more authentic how it would actually look in person.
right.
So never go by the photos. But if you notice, in the previous one, that closet is sad. There's barely any space, and that's pretty much with most condos. Like storage is a big deal. The bathroom is nice and big. Um, it has an in unit washer dryer. Pretty cool. I can't believe that those seem like a luxury. But the view is nice. It's central downtown Toronto. So
Yeah.
yeah, this one is selling for 730, um, which, to be honest, is considered a fair price.
I really like the balcony space as well. Just having
Yeah,
that. I know like Toronto gets cold and that's not something that's available throughout the year, but when it is in the summers, it looks like a nice space, especially with the view. It is a nice
yeah.
view.
The
It's almost
view
like you're paying for the
is
view at that point when you're paying that much money.
agreed, agreed. But I'm gonna kill it for you right now. If you scroll down, go and look at the maintenance fees.
Is it more than $350?
It's $550 a month.
And that's on top of whatever your mortgage, your monthly mortgage,
Yeah,
plus probably insurance, unless you go cough up to 20% of a down payment.
yeah.
There's an
Like,
indoor pool though. I mean,
yeah.
I know it's expensive. I'm just trying to justify whatever these pricings are, but it's hard.
You know what? I mean, to most people, that is a justified price.
Yeah.
And I think what now I'm gonna go. We're gonna look at another property, which is in another city called Barrie, and that's about 90 kilometers north of here. Um, and that is selling for $530,000.
Not even in downtown or anywhere near a skyline.
This is nowhere near Toronto. This
Yeah.
is this is a 2 hour drive from Toronto,
I mean, you can
and
tell it's not in Toronto just with the lobby. Because the first two listings we looked at, the lobbies itself looked so fancy. They look like hotels. Because that's what you
yeah.
want it to look like if you're in downtown. But um, it's not
But
bad.
if you do look at it's not bad actually. If you go through the pictures here, it seems more like a proper apartment. It has a big ass kitchen, it has a proper seating area, it has a nice balcony, uh, it has a separate laundry room.
Okay, so no in
It has
unit
this. No, no,
washer
no. It
dryer.
like it has an in-unit washer
In
dryer,
unit. Oh, I see. Okay, I see it.
like that is a room.
Right.
A huge ass bathroom, big balcony. The view's not bad at all. Um, but yeah, it's nowhere near the city, and but you are paying over $500,000 for this. So
And this
that's
was not an
kind of
expensive neighborhood before all these listings came out.
when I started looking at it. A lot of these houses were hovering around the 350 to $400,000 mark. And by the time it went to 500,000, I was like, no. And I'm very happy I made that decision because right now, with interest rates gone up so much, the idea is that the further away you bought your apartment, further away it was from Toronto, the overpriced it was. Toronto might retain its value, but places that are far away from Toronto, it's a bit of a gamble. It would have stressed me out. It's a lot of money for a place that's not exactly a metropolitan like the city. Um, but this gives you the idea of the craziness, and these are condos. If you go into houses, those who are selling, there is no way you could buy a house for less than $1 million. It's almost unthinkable in Toronto. And this is not even like downtown Toronto because there are not that many houses in downtown Toronto. This is, if you go slightly east or slightly west, these are $1 million homes. And now it's like everything's $1 million home.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even talking like a house that has a parking spot. It doesn't have a parking spot. It's not a detached, it's a semi-detached, which means you are going to be sharing one wall with another house.
Mm-hmm.
And that is selling for 1.3 million. I know people who spent that money and they're like, "Oh, we got it cheap," because that people who bought after that they bought, those were selling for 1.5.
Mm-hmm. That's always going to be the
Yeah.
case. I think a lot of people will tell themselves that also to feel better, knowing that, oh, look at these people paying 2 million for the house that we paid 1.5 for.